side of the pond, which I'm happy to have. We were just talking about Tyson Fury. Well, we have Michael the Problem McKinson joining us right now. What's up, Mike?
Yes, how you doing?
Great. I'm doing great. I'm glad you could join us from the other side of the pond. What time is it over there? What do we? I know sometimes it's 5 hours difference, and sometimes it's six. What's the
Yeah.
difference now?
So we're 5 to 11 at night.
Oh
So
God, I'd already be in my feety pajamas by
me
then.
too.
You know.
I've stayed awake especially to speak to you guys.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, listen, I know you. Well, tell us first of all. I know you've collected a bunch of titles along the way, but first off, I before I get into a question, I'm dying to ask you. I'm going to ask you the canned question. What got you into boxing, my man?
Boxing. So my father is my coach and my manager. So I was born into a boxing family. My younger brother Lucas Ballingle, he's a professional boxer, um, and my father trains us both. So really, for me, I was boxing. I had boxing gloves on from very very young. It's the only thing I've ever known.
Well, that's good. I love to hear that, pro boxers come from a boxing family and they started early because I think that's critical. Now, you have 29 pro fights. You have two losses on your record, and one of them came against Virgil Ortiz. That's the only time you were ever stopped. What I mean, I always look at the positive side that you learned something from it, and you stepping in, you were undefeated going into that fight. You step in with Virgil Ortiz, you come out on the losing end. What did you learn from that fight?
I did two camps for Ortiz. So I was originally meant to box him in the March of 2022. We flew to LA, and fight week, 4 or 5 days before the fight, news got out he was hospitalized with rhabdomyosis, so he's off the show. Um, that fight week was tough for me because I didn't know if I was having my US debut or if I wasn't, and Golden Boy worked hard. I said yes to 7 different names over the space of 48 hours. Um, Fight week was wild. I said yes to fight Blair Cobbs, Alexis Rocha, one of the Rincon brothers, Ivan Panzic, a Mexican guy, and in the end, I fought another Golden Boy fighter, Alex Martin. Later, I realised that Alex Martin knew weeks before he was going to be fighting me. um, so it was a bit of a crazy fight week, but nonetheless, I got my US debut. I won, and then 4 months down the line, we got the Ortiz fight rescheduled. We went to Texas. It didn't go my way. I did well in the fight. I won rounds. I cut him, um, and I left Texas with a lot more fans than I went with. I earned the respect of everybody, whether it be the boxing fans, the boxing media in the US, the promoter Golden Boy Promotions, who obviously that's who we worked with that time. Um, so yeah, there was a lot of positives to come from it. You can never be proud of a loss, of course, and it was a tough one to take, my first L. But there was a lot of positives to come from. I went in the post fight press conference and I got a standing ovation and stuff. So there was a lot to take from it.
Yeah, no, that's my whole point. Not to rekindle the feelings of a loss, but to use it as a positive, as a positive. And that same Alex Martin, you came back and beat him anyway, right? 10.
That's it. Yeah, it was. I spent 3 months preparing for Virgil Ortiz, and then they sprung it upon me 2 days before the fight that I'm fighting a skillful southpaw, and you know, I, at that point, I just said yes. I didn't even watch him. I was very frustrated, but I said yes. I went up to bed, and 2 days later, I got in the ring and fought Alex Martin, who was quite negative, but I won via unanimous decision.
Hey, before I ask you my question I've been dying to ask you. One of my guys in the chat room, my man coaches, wants me to ask Mike if it's true that
Yep.
in your first 2 years as a professional, you earned only one paycheck. Is that true?
This is true. Somebody's done their homework. So,
Oh,
it,
oh.
but yeah, so it was my first 10 professional fights. So I don't know if that was 2 years. My first 10 professional fights, I turned professional as a young guy from my city, 19, 20. Wasn't very popular. At this time, my teammates in the gym and surrounding areas were popular. I wasn't. And it was on small shows, the dirt, where you have to sell tickets to be able to pay for an opponent to be able to fight. And I couldn't sell any tickets back then, um, meaning we used to have to scramble together to be able to pay to be able to fight. I got to 10-0, and combined over all of them fights, I earned probably 1,000 English pounds combined.
Well, it's hey, listen, it's the same here in the states, man. I was involved with many fighters, and that's what And I try telling people, fans, they just don't understand sometimes that a lot of times the opponent is making more money than the other guy, because of exactly what you're saying. Okay, I got a question for you. I've had the luxury of um going all over Europe in the sport, with the sport of boxing and everything. I've never been to the UK, and I've always thought that my show, we're in our 22nd year. I always thought that it would do very well in England. Now, when I researched your career, you've fought all over the world. And one of the things that I love about the UK boxing scene, and I've made this statement that I feel the UK boxing scene carries professional boxing on their back. And one of the reasons are the fans. And I say this because the fans know the sport. They're not going to abandon, like in your case, you have two losses, right? 27 wins, impressive. You had two losses. In the States, half the fans would have abandoned you after the first loss. They don't do that in the UK. Have you noticed? Do you notice a difference about the UK fans being a fighter and hearing these guys cheering for you? They're singing, they're drinking beers that look like half kegs. I mean, and everybody seems to have a good time. And I see all
Yeah.
kinds of people, between kids, men, women, young, old. I mean, they're all at these English events, and we see the same kinds of people at the U.S. Venues. Very rarely kids. Um, do you think? Am I right? I mean, and what I'm seeing, are the UK fans the best, the way they seem to be?
Do you know, they're very passionate people. Like I have links to Ireland as well. So the Irish, I've boxed there a few times, and I have a sister that's and family in Ireland, uh, and obviously in England as well. So the atmosphere and they're very very passionate people. Um, but going back to what you said, they don't abandon you after a loss. I feel like I took my second L last year. um, I lost for the IBO welterweight title on points to Talani and Benge from South Africa. I had an amazing camp. I was over in Philadelphia sparring with Boots, but I flew home to the UK 10 days before, sick, and I had a decision. Couldn't really breathe. I had a fever, a bit of a cold, a temperature, and I still decided to fight. And it was the worst decision I made because um, I took the loss and I haven't been able to get anything since. All of the promoters over here and things like they just want to forget about you. I've only lost twice, both at world level, and I've not fought in 2025. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, no, I love. I hope I get over there at some point. I would love to do this show there. I'd love to call fights there. I mean, the fans, from what I see and hear, are great. I communicate with a lot of UK fans on social media and stuff, and they all seem like they know the sport well, and I appreciate that. Well, speaking of having fighting in 2025, I know your last fight was got you back a W. You fought in December of last year. When can we see you back in the ring?
As soon as possible. Like this year, 2025, people will see I've been inactive, but I've been in the gym working all year in the hope the call's going to come and I'm going to be ready. I've sacrificed many weeks away from my family and the children and things like that in order to hopefully something come up. Working now with a Gladiator Sports Group and stuff, advising me and trying to get me something else. And obviously, my dad's my manager, and we don't have a promoter at the moment, so things get a little hard. But hopefully, there'll be something big round the corner.
Well, hopefully, I mean, I would love to see you in England, but hopefully, I get to see you here in the States.
Hey,
I know
I
you. What's that?
I love fighting in the States. I've boxed there twice. I've done many a camp in the States. I've sparred out in New Jersey a couple of times, Philadelphia a couple of times, New York many times. So yeah, we love the States. I personally feel I get respected and more recognition when I'm in the States than I do in the UK. So yeah, hopefully in the future I'll be out
All right, we got one more question for you. Coming from the chat room. Have you fought on the same card as your brother?
a couple of times. So my home city of Portsmouth in the UK, I've not fought there for 8 years. The last time I fought in Portsmouth, I headlined against a guy called Colin Lyons. It was only, I think, my 13th professional fight. I was a young boy, and he was a decorated professional. Me and my brother were the standouts on the show. We both won by knockout, technical knockout, and yeah, we took over. So hopefully, in the future, we get to join each other on the same card. Obviously, he's um, got his path. I've got my path, but like we work together. We train together day in day out, and yeah, it's always good if we ever get on the same card.
Hey, Mike, as soon as you get a fight, booked, you got to reach out, and we'll have you back on the show, and we'll talk about the fight and all of that stuff. Because
There's
I'm going to keep my eye on you, and I hope we get to meet in person real soon. I, I I'm looking forward to you coming here, but I'd like to see you over there too. So,
I've been linked to fight a couple of American fighters in the past. Roger a couple of times, Alexis Roger, also Blair Cobbs. He's called me out many times.
Black Cobb, woo woo.
Blair
Hey,
Cobbs,
I'm
you can,
I met him. I did an event in Las Vegas for the
yeah.
Canelo, one of the Canelo fights, and Blair was on the card, and he's a character.
Oh wow.
He's with Don King Promotions now, from what I understand. But he beat
Oh,
Adrian Broner. Yeah, he's a character. He's a nice kid.
yeah.
Nice kid. That would be a good
Blair
fight.
Cobbs, he beat an old problem. I'm a real problem, and
Yeah.
it's
Hey, that could be your shtick. I'm gonna talk to them about that.
and
So we'll see.
he seems to be very inactive for his age, and he's always calling out people and stuff, and he hasn't been able to get fights. So maybe he's in a similar situation as me.
A lot of fighters are, or they're forced to promote themselves because
Mm.
nobody promotes anymore. That's why I like the scene on your side of the pond so much better. I mean, you have promoters that promote, between Hearn and Frank Warren, and Boxer now. I mean, all these guys are out there, promoting their fighters, and a lot of the promoters here in the States, not so much, but anyway, listen, I really appreciate you coming on, Mike.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best, and like I said, I can't wait for you to get signed to a fight, and you got to reach out. You got my contact info. Reach out, and we'll get you right back on. And all I can say is go to sleep, man. You're making me tired. Just if it's that late, I mean, geez, I'm already waking up in the morning by the time you're going to be going to bed. So
Me
appreciate you
too.
taking the time to join us, brother.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
See ya.
That's my man, Michael the Problem McKinson. And I tell you, I hope he gets a fight here in the states, and I hope that he gets a fight close by. I'm going to be at Mohegan Sun in November 1st, and it would be great to see the new problem, like he said, the better problem, not the old problem, Adrian Broner, but I'd like to see Mike fight here, and hopefully I get to meet him in person. But